outside. Touch grass. Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Nerd Stuff Outdoors Edition. That's right, folks. I am not just a disembodied voice coming from a 200 square foot sweaty bedroom. I have legs and have ventured out into the outdoors. AKA, I am house sitting for my parents and I still needed to make content. But you know, sometimes it's nice to breathe in the fresh air and smell the smog, step in some dog poop, you know, grounding things. Also, I do apologize if the ambience is ambienting too much. There's a lot of cars. I think there's like a football game happening directly across the street, so go team, and I apologize in advance. I hope it's not too bad. We'll find out afterwards. How bad is it, Mary?
Not great, but it'll do.
Sounds great, thanks. Stepping away from my studio, I've become reflective. As we've discussed before, it's important to take a step away in order to recharge your creativity. And in doing so, I've been thinking a lot about my self-taught journey. Because as we know, Nerd Stuff is a space where fellow nerds like you and I can gather together and geek out over the nerddom that is music production. And coming from a self-taught background, my aim is to share the things that I'm learning on my journey with those of you who find yourselves in the same boat as me. Self-taught, hobbyist, bedroom, backyard producers coming together and encouraging each other to gain new skills, improve, and ultimately encouraging each other to get the songs off the hard drive and out into the world. Let's recite the motto for the first time in the open air. No more graveyards on hard drives. The wind agrees. I have to be honest, life is weird. Particularly in the creative world, I would venture to guess that most of us would agree there's a lot of challenging new developments. Producers and artists have had to become essentially their own entire team of content creators, producers, songwriters, engineers. That was a dog. And social media being an aspect of that is just so hard. The comparison game, the struggle with streaming, the threat of AI just existing. There are so many things about this new day and age that can be so challenging, and especially for those of us who are newer to the production side, it can be hard to feel like, where do I fit into this equation? How do I get started? What am I even doing? And I'm feeling that way too. I've been making my own music for about 10 years and really seriously producing it for about the last 5. I wanted to take this opportunity to share with you some of the biggest lessons that I've learned in this self-taught journey. I want to share 5 lessons that I've learned in my music production journey over the last few years that will hopefully help any of you, whether you're just starting out or just needing a little bit of encouragement and maybe like me are needing to touch some grass and take a deep breath. So with that, let's jump into this episode of Nerd Stuff. Hey! We almost had a camera tragedy. These are the top 5 lessons that I've learned on my music production journey that I wanted to share with you. So number 1, and potentially the most important to remember on a daily, hourly, minutely basis, it's not that complicated. This concept is definitely hard to remember. What I mean is that nothing should impede you from expressing your creativity in a way that feels meaningful to you. I just have to remind myself that no one's judging me. Probably no one's really thinking about me, which is sad, but true. At least not in the way that I think they're thinking about me. And it doesn't matter what kind of gear you have. If you're making good music that feels good to you, that's the most important thing of all. So it's not that complicated. Don't overthink it. If you're happy making the music that you're making, if you're actively releasing projects, then who cares? This is about your journey, and your journey is going to be unique and different from everyone else's, and mine included. So that's lesson number 1. It's not that complicated. Lesson number 2, make finished songs the goal, not perfect songs. I think this is slightly in line with number 1, where we could be overcomplicating things with perfectionism. Anyone? Just me? Cool. I think for all artists and producers, but particularly for self-taught people, every new project and every new song is a brand new opportunity to learn new skills and to try new things and hone our craft. And how can we hone our craft if we're not actively finishing our projects? That's why I go so hard on the hard drive graveyard. Songs left to rot in the hard drive graveyard are just missed opportunities to continue to grow and learn new things about your artistry and your creative expression. The beauty of music is that it's subjective, so perfection is a myth. If it makes you happy and you feel like it sounds the best that it can sound, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's gonna be great. So that's lesson number 2. Make finished songs the priority. And don't worry about perfect. Lesson number 3, production is equally as emotional as it is technical. This is something that trips me up all the time. I get really in my head about what are my producer friends going to think about the way that I EQ'd this guitar, or, you know, what are my listeners going to think about the way that I compressed my snare? First of all, the majority of people not thinking that. Second of all, this is something that I feel like I'm still working through, and to be honest, I don't know if I will ever grow out of this feeling of being like my technical skills aren't at the same level as my desire to emote. But if production were only about the technical side, there would be no value in listening to that music. So the moral of the story is, don't discount your intuition. If your music is making you happy and you feel like your emotions are being conveyed in the best way that you know how, what else could you ask for? That's what music is all about, at least to me anyway. Okay, lesson number 4 is set attainable goals. There are 2 parts to this lesson which make it very important. Number 1, setting goals, and then number 2, making them attainable. Because I write and produce my own music, it's fully up to me to follow through on any plans for releases, whether that means I am working on a timeline for all of my songs to come out, or write or produce this many songs and release them this year, or anything of that nature. The ball is fully in my court, meaning that any choices that I make have a direct impact not only on the back end of releasing the music and getting it out there, but also on the front end with the creative side. I'm a gal who loves structure. What can I say? I don't think I'm being realistic when I set goals sometimes. Like, I want to write a new song and release it every single week. Cool goal, but also I have other life that has to happen in between then. So setting the goals important, but also making them attainable, equally as important. And then lastly, lesson number 5. Be the change that you want to see. I have quite a few friends in the gigging world that consistently say, I want to get into production more and I just don't really know where to start. And, I'd love to work with people and collaborate, but, no one's really hitting me up. And I think to myself, well, be the change that you want to see. If you want to collaborate with people, hit them up, let them know. They may not always say yes, but the worst thing that they could say is no. They're not going to murder you. So whatever the specifics are for you and your project, whether you want to learn how to use a new instrument in your production process, or you want to start collaborating with more people, or whatever it may be the change that you want to see and take the initiative, because no one else is going to do it for you. It's got to be you. I don't know if you can tell, but it's getting dark and I can see the mosquitoes swarming behind the camera. I'll leave you with this. Your journey is your own, and don't ever let anyone tell you that you're doing it wrong, or that you're not doing enough, or that there's only one right way to do things. Because while there are universal lessons that apply across the board, like some of the things I've mentioned today, ultimately the details of your creative expression and your creative journey are going to be fully up to you. There's only one you, and there's only one me, which is good because that would be too much if there were multiple of me. Thank you so much for watching. I know this was a little bit out of the ordinary from my usual content, but it did feel nice to get outside and get a breath of fresh air. So I hope that you will stick around for the next couple weeks when I return to my studio and share a little bit more about my music and my production journey. As always, if you are interested in becoming a member of the Nerd Stuff community, please consider becoming a subscriber and liking the video if you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, then that's okay. Move on. It's okay. That's it. Bye.